Hi guys, and welcome to the Lead Beginners course. Now, what we're going to be doing in this course is getting you to be able to play solos and riffs. Okay, so if you like that kind of style, if you like rock music, blues music, and these are the kind of sounds that you're aspiring to be able to play, then this is the course to get you started. Now, not only are we going to go through some really cool solos and riffs, but I'm also going to teach you how you can play your own solos, how you can write and improvise your own solos as well as your own riffs. So there's a lot of information that we're going to be going through, but we're going to go step by step, really gradually, and it's all going to make a lot of sense. Now, in this video, we're actually going to take you through, firstly, a spider exercise. Now, spider exercises are all about developing technique, making sure that your hand's in the right place on the guitar and that your right hand's doing the correct thing. Once we've done that, we're also going to look at tab. So just how to read tab. And it's basic, but it's something that everyone needs to know how to do. So we're going to go through that as well. So we're going to start with this spider exercise. And to get us going, we're going to get a little drum beat on. Now, this is a demonstration. So I'm going to start a little quicker than we're going to do it at 120 BPM. So I'm going to use my lovely little machine and press play. And there we've got it. So in this course, you're going to find we're going to be doing a lot of stuff to drum beats and loops, okay? Because it really helps you kind of develop your timing on the guitar and also the kind of technique and consistency of your playing. So let me first just take you through what this spider exercise looks like. Here we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, let's turn that drum beat off. So that's what the spider exercise is. By no means a nice sounding exercise, it's just pure technique. And you'll see a lot of these style of exercises, and this particular one is called 1, 2, 3, 4, because that's pretty much what we're doing with our left hand. So let's go through that now. So first things first, when you're sitting there with your guitar, it's really important to kind of get the right hand position with your fretting hand, in this case my left hand. So the first thing I'm going to get you to do is actually kind of put the thumb right at the back of the neck. You should be able to see that that thumb, if I just pull this round here, is right at the back, and you can see it's not this joint, it's not doing that. So I'm flattening the thumb joint to make sure it's nice and flat. And what that allows me to do is actually stretch across the 4 fingers across 4 frets, because what we absolutely must have here is 1 finger on each fret. Okay, so at first, you know, this is going to be really tricky, and you know, everyone has a problem kind of stretching across here. So it's normally just a case of making sure the thumb is far enough down the neck. If you see here, you can see my thumb's poking up and they're all clumped together, and this is obviously no good. So I'm just going to kind of drag that thumb back, flatten it out, and the more I do that, you can see the more my fingers want to stretch out. Okay, so here it is over the neck, and as I bring it back, the fingers kind of stretch out, and that's what you need to kind of grasp straight away. So that's your first task, okay? So make sure you can do that. Now, when you've got that, the idea here is that you're going to try and keep the fingers in that position, okay? So even when I go and play my first note, which is going to be this first fret of the E string, I'm going to be going like this, and you can see my fingers are still kind of pretty much hovering over the same frets. Okay, so when I do my first line, it looks like they barely have to move. And this is really important, something you need to kind of consistently do. So let's give this a go. So how we're going to play it is we're going to start with the first finger on the first fret of the E string. So this is the E string, okay, along here. And we're just going to pluck that. Very nice. Then the second finger on the second fret of the E string. So I'm just now pushing that one down and playing that one. Then the third finger on the third fret, okay? And the fourth finger, stretch it right across to the 4th fret. Now, it is gonna feel pretty strenuous. You're gonna really feel it in your wrist, okay? So don't worry about that. We're not gonna do this for too long, especially at the starting stage, but we will be, you know, you will have a little bit of tension in the wrist. So altogether, that first line is just simply 1, 2, 3, 4. With the right hand, okay, I want you to be picking down and up strokes. Okay, so if you're not sure how to hold the pick, there will have been a video, an early total beginner's basic video as to how to hold the pick and hold the guitar and things like that. But you should be holding it something like this, and we're just going to go down, up, down, up. Okay, so that's called alternate picking, and we're going to be doing that all the way through the course. If you want, you can also use your little finger just to put against the kind of body of the guitar there, just to hold you down. Lots of people do that. Up, down, up. Okay, so have a little break from that, just get your wrist back in shape, and then we're going to pop it back on. And essentially the exercise then takes you through each string. So you do exactly the same thing on each string. Okay, so I'm going to walk it through really slow here, so pay close attention here, guys. So remember, down, up with the right hand, down, up. Then we're going to move to the second string, so this is the A string, and we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, notice how all my fingers are trying to get to the edge of this fret. This is really important because this really helps make the sound clear. If it was right at the start of the fret like that, it's going to sound a bit buzzy. So we've just done the second line, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to go into the D string now, so the third string. Still down, up, then the next string, then the next string, so you get the idea by now, I'm sure, then the next string. Okay, now then, once you've kind of done that, and I would say, you know, before you carry on, just spend a little bit of time making sure you can do that. Pause the video, have a go at it, try and go through all the way down, and then give your wrist a little bit of a break. But we're then going to go back. We're going to go back the other way. Okay, so we're going to go in reverse. So now we're right at the top here. We're then going to go 4, 3, 2, 1. So 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so that's going to be a little bit of a, you know, it's going to hurt your brain a little bit to start with. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, here's a cool thing, right? We're going to go to the next string. But what I want you to do is keep your first finger where it is, because this is going to help you kind of continuously keep this hand position. Otherwise, you're going to end up doing a lot more work than necessary. So we get to the end of this E string, and then you can see how I can see they're both kind of in the same frets. The little finger's over on the fourth, the first is back here, and now we're going to go down the B string. Same thing again, stretch across to the G string. Same thing again, stretch across. And same thing again, and again, until we're back at the start. Okay, so that's the exercise. Now, there's a lot going on here, and to be honest, because this is the first time you'll have done any kind of exercise like this, it's going to be hard work. Okay, but the whole point is that you're learning how to stretch the hand, put the wrist in the right position, and use your right hand. So there's a hell of a lot to be learned here. So what we're going to do is I'm now going to change my drum tempo to come right down to a beat called 80 BPM, so a slower beat, and I'll just do that now. And what that's going to mean is we're going to try and actually play along to this tempo. Okay, so I'm just going to pop that on. Now then, this is what your practice is going to be, guys. Okay, this, to try and get to play along with this. Now you've got the audio tracks and the tab to help you out, and it's going to look like this. Ready? I'm going to count you in. If you're ready, just play along with me. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Okay. Now, if you're just listening, this is going to sound pretty slow. But when you start trying to do this, if you've never done anything like this before, this is going to be fast. And straight away, back down. Okay, there it is. So that's your first exercise, your spider exercise, and I want you to really spend some time on that. I would say at first just do it without the drum beat, and then when you feel like you start to get it together a little bit more, put the drum beat on and give it a try, okay? And we want to get it up to 80 BPM. That's going to be our target, okay? That's what we want to get at. Now, if you understand that, we're just going to quickly talk about tab, okay? So I just want to draw your attention to a tiny little bit of theory. It's obviously basic theory that we must have. But what you're going to see now on the screen is a bar of tab, so the lines. And now, what these lines are the actual strings on the guitar. Okay, so it actually goes like in a kind of reverse order to what you'd expect. It actually goes from low to high. And what I mean by that is the low string, which is the low in sound string, to the high string, high in sound. Okay, so it's going to kind of be a reflection of the guitar. You know, it looks like a mirror image more than anything. So we can just clarify that by just going through the strings, okay? So what you're going to have is you're going to have the lowest string, which is the E, then you're going to have the A, then the D string, then the G string, then the B, and then the E. So you can see every single line of this tab kind of matches up to the strings. So those horizontal lines are the strings. Okay? Now, if you struggle to remember that E, A, D, G, B, E, you can always remember elephants and donkeys grow big ears. Okay? I'm sure you can come up with your own versions of these, but I particularly like that one. One of my students came up with that one donkeys years ago. Yeah, excuse the pun there. And it's stuck with me ever since, and I love it. So, elephants and donkeys grow big ears, just in case you can't remember that. So, anyway, we've got the strings, so we've now worked that out. So if we now have a little look at the tab, okay? So what we're looking at now is the first 2 bars of the 1, 2, 3, 4 exercise, okay? And as you can see, you can obviously clearly see where you've got the numbers going across the strings, okay? So what this means, if we just target the very first number, so it says 1 on the E string, okay, and that's really simple. That just means it's the first fret of the E string. So you're going to put your first finger on the first fret of the E string and then pluck it, and that's your first, note on this tab. Okay, where it says 2, that means you're going to put your whatever finger. It doesn't actually specify what finger, but we know that we're going to use our second finger. But on the second fret of the E string, that's the crucial part there, and we're going to pluck that. And then the next note says 3, so we go to the 3rd fret of the E string, and the next note is 4, so 4th note of the E string, 4th fret, sorry. So that whole first line of tab, in correlation with what we're playing in the spider exercise, should look like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now that lovely kind of line, that vertical line, is called a bar line. So this just helps us read the music. This says that, okay, those 4 notes, they're in 1 bar of 4, so we've got 4 notes per the bar, and now we move on to the next bar. It just makes it a little easier to read the music. So now we've got the 1 again, but it's on the second horizontal line, which means the A string. So we're going to put the first fret of the A string, and that's our next note. Then 2 is the 2nd fret, 3 is the 3rd fret, 4th is the 4th fret. Okay? So altogether, that tab, if we play along with it, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Of course, let me just clarify that the tab doesn't give you specific rhythms. That's one thing you won't get from tab. It just gives you a rough idea, like that. And secondly, it doesn't really give you anything to do with what fingers should be used, what kind of picking pattern you should be doing. That's all something that we'll learn separately, as we go through things. So the tab is considered more of a guide, really, than kind of normal sheet music. So there we have it, guys. With that information, you've got your spider exercise and you've got your tab. So now you should be able to look at the tab, kind of actually read through the spider exercise and play along. So your first task is to understand the tab, play the spider exercise and get it up to 80 BPM, and I'll see you next time for the next video.